Hello, welcome once again. We are back here in the great outdoors. Last time we were in the great outdoors was for Dear Prudence, and here, well, we're a bit further into the album now, but we're back here, and we're here in Scotland. We've crossed the border of all places.
Are we in Scotland?
This is Scotland with the hills and stuff, although it looks like it's going to rain, to be honest. Looking at the sky, it looks quite thundery actually. There are thunderstorms forecast, so yeah, well, this video is going to be a race. It'll probably be a quick video, but we're racing against the weather. Let's see what happens first. Will I get this video finished before the rain arrives? We shall see. Anyway, so yes, like I say, we are out here in the outdoors and we are on a road. Can anybody maybe guess why we would be on a road? Well, it's actually a quiet road, but there is traffic that still uses this road, so hopefully nothing will come while I'm doing this, but if it does happen and something runs me over, it's on camera, so there's no need for a post-mortem. Anyway, yes, today we're going to be talking about a very important question that I'm sure everybody has wondered. Why doesn't people have sex in the middle of the road? Welcome back to the White Album in Depth. This is episode 15, Why Don't We Do It in the Road? In spring 1968, the Beatles went to Rishikesh in India to study meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. So one day whilst there, Paul McCartney was sat on the roof of the little hut he was staying in, and he was doing some meditating, and whilst he was doing that, he was taking in the beauty of his surroundings, which was more jungly than bits like this, but still it's beautiful here. Anyway, whilst he was looking about on his roof, he looked down at the road and he noticed on the road there was a group of monkeys, wild monkeys walking along it. Anyway, one of the monkeys, a male monkey, decided to jump onto the back of a female monkey, and to quote Paul, he then gave her one. Anyway, this lasted 2 or 3 seconds, and then the male monkey hopped back off. He then sort of looked about, kind of bewildered and like, it wasn't me, mate, it wasn't me. Whilst the female monkey, she just looked about like there'd been a disturbance in the force, like had something happened there? She didn't seem to know. Anyway, Paul was very much amused by this, but he was also intrigued by it because he thought, well, that just kind of goes to show that sex, it's a very simple thing, but humans make it so complicated, whereas animals, they just do it. They don't make a big song and dance about it and then just move on. So that planted a little idea in his head. So we're going to fast forward now to October 9th, 1968, which happened to be John Lennon's 28th birthday, and the Beatles, minus John, were working in Abbey Road. They were finishing off a number of tracks. By this point, the White Album was very nearly finished. Anyway, at one point, Paul, along with engineer Ken Townsend, decided that they would go off into Studio One to record a new song that Paul had been thinking of. So Paul was still thinking about these monkeys that he'd seen in India. He was wanting to do a song that was inspired by this, and believe it or not, if you listen to the song, Paul made this up on the spot. I know, you wouldn't think it listening to it, would you? Anyway, he wanted to pose a simple question to listeners. Why don't we do it in the road? Why don't we? Come on girls, we're in the road. It's a joke. Well, maybe. So to begin with, Paul and Ken Townsend, they would record the basic track. Now Paul would do 5 attempts at the basic track before deciding that take 5 was the best of them all, and that would be the one that he would start adding overdubs to. So like I said, Paul was the only Beatle working on this, so therefore he's the only one playing on the basic track. So the basic track just consisted of Paul's lead vocals and an acoustic guitar. So the next thing he did was he overdubbed a piano onto the track, and then he decided to conclude that day's sessions. So the following day, October 10th, 1968, Paul returned to work on the song, but this time he enlisted Ringo to help with him. Now on this day, John and George were busy working on overdubs for other White Album tracks. I think they were working on overdubs for Piggies and Glass Onion, I think, off the top of my head. So Paul and Ringo had a bit of spare time, so that's why they then went off again to work on this song. So to begin with, Paul overdubbed some bass onto the track, and then Ringo overdubbed his drums onto the track. So after this, Paul then decided to re-record his lead vocal. Now to do this, he needed to free up a track. So the first thing he did was he removed his acoustic guitar from the previous day. It was just completely removed from the song. On the finished thing, there is no acoustic guitar. Anyway, that was then replaced, that track, with Paul's new lead vocal. Next, Paul and Ringo then added hand claps onto the track, and then Paul added another vocal part to the song. Then finally, Paul overdubbed some electric guitar onto the song, and with that, it was finished. That was it. Pretty short and sweet session, I suppose, really, but it's a short and sweet song. The White Album was released on the 22nd of November 1968, and Why Don't We Do It in the Road was track number 7 on side 2 of the album. It was also the 15th track overall on the album. At 1 minute 42 in length, it is also one of the shortest tracks on the White Album. Now, John Lennon really liked this song, but in later years he spoke about how he was hurt the fact that he didn't get to play on it. So he claimed that Paul just went off and did this on his own and didn't consult any of the other three or give them a chance. Now obviously we know this isn't true because Ringo obviously plays on the song. But yeah, John was quite critical of the fact that Paul went off and did this on his own because I think John wanted to play on it because he liked the song. Anyway, Paul did hit back at John and said, well, it wasn't a deliberate thing because, you know, John was busy, George was busy, and he also pointed out that John went off and did Revolution 9 on his own and Paul wanted to help him with that one, but he didn't get the chance. So yeah, swings and roundabouts, I suppose. And Ringo as well, he actually jumped to Paul's defence on this because he pointed out that whilst yes, it does just feature him and Paul, the Ballads of John and Yoko, which was also a single, that only featured John and Paul. Didn't feature George and Ringo, but it still went out as a Beatles track. So yeah, make of that what you will. It would have been nice, obviously, if all four of them had played on it, but as it is, it's not the be all and end all. At the end of the day, it's only a 1 minute 42 track. It's not the end of the world, I suppose. Look at that lake. Why is it so dirty like that? Kind of tempted to go over and have a look. Should we go over and have a look? I mean, why shouldn't we? Filling this video a bit. Anyone think I'm stalling for time? Oh. Tell you what, folks, sorry to interject here, it's completely off topic, but look how beautiful this is. Look how beautiful Scotland is, the hills, everything, man. The greenery, the sort of dead looking grass over there, but it's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. It's no wonder, I mean, this isn't Kintyre where Paul lived, but it's no wonder that he wanted to live here in Scotland. I'd want to live in Scotland. I mean, I live in England, but not far from Scotland. Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? Welcome, this is still Ollie's Adventure. I've just realised I'm over here now, that's my car over there, and I've left my car key in it and the door's open. This is very ambitious, I hope no one nicks it. Yeah. By the time you're watching this, it's gone, by the way. Hopefully with me in it, so don't come here and try and nick it. This isn't a live video, anyway. I mean, it could be a really pretty lake, but it's just sort of all yuck. Yeah. This is as close as I'm going to come here on my nature documentary now to this little lake pond thing. It's more a pond, I suppose, than a lake. Oh, we're in Scotland though, it would be a loch, wouldn't it? Not a lake. Yeah. There we go. I mean, what is that stuff? Try and zoom in on that. What is that stuff? Is it dead grass or something, or leaves? I don't know what it is. Any of you naturey people watching this know what that is? Anyway, I should really stop going off topic here. So let's go back to me talking about monkey sex. Looking for a home in the heart of the country. So for me personally, I've always really enjoyed this song. It's one of my favourites on the album, to be honest. I really like Paul's voice on it. He just absolutely shreds the vocals on this song. He is just a powerhouse, a force to vocal on this song. Yes, lyrically, there's not really a lot there. You can tell it's a song that Paul has made up on the spot, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good song. I enjoy it. It's 1 minute 42 at the end of the day. It's inoffensive. And, you know, why don't we do it in the road? It's quite an interesting proposition. It's obviously because we're civilised and we wouldn't. I mean, imagine if I was sat here now and two people were having sex over there, it'd be a bit awkward. But yeah, it's an inoffensive song. It's just a bit of fun, really. You know, that's what's nice about the White Album. It adds to the charm, songs like this. Just little ditties like this add to the charm of the White Album, in my opinion. Now, I know, obviously, I've spoken about this before, but there's been the argument about the White Album. It should have been condensed down to a single album. I don't personally like that idea because I like it as a double album. I think that's its charm, the fact it's all over the place. But if it had gone down to a single album, I think it's fair to say this song would not have been recorded. It probably wouldn't have even existed, I doubt, because Paul just improvises it on the spot. So yeah, it was a spur of the moment kind of thing. Inspired by monkey sex, yeah. But anyway, it's a fun song. It's nothing serious, it's enjoyable. Paul's vocals are great, piano's great, and Ringo's drumming on it's good too. So yeah, good song. 1 minute 42 in length, as I keep saying. Why don't we do it in the road? Why don't we? So that concludes this episode of the White Album in depth. I'm aware this has been a shorter episode, but it's a short song. There's not really all that much to say about it. But if you have enjoyed this, please do consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already subscribed. There is also a playlist on my channel which consists of all previous episodes in this series, and all future episodes will also be in that playlist. Anyway, I will see you next time, where it is finally time, the one I've been looking forward to. It's time to talk about the song, which at the time of recording this is my favourite song on the White Album. So yeah, looking forward to that. Until then though, do take care, and remember, why don't we do it in the road? No one will be watching us.